Today we're actually going to talk about Scorpio. Yay, it's Scorpio season! And Scorpio season actually starts on October 23rd to November 21st. Yeah. I am an Aries surrounded by Scorpios. So my father's a Scorpio, my favorite uncle's a Scorpio, and a great deal of the men who I've dealt with in my life have been Scorpios. So I think this is going to be a really interesting video because, you know, I'm a little bit salty about Scorpio. I'm a little bit salty. So if you see me catching like a little attitude, don't be mad. But Scorpios are most definitely a sign that, and the funny part is that I'm an Aries and I'm not trying to match myself with a Scorpio because, as you know, Scorpio is a water sign and Aries is a fire sign. And one thing about Scorpios is that male or female, they want to be the lead. They want to be the ruler, okay? They want to run. Like, who run the world? They run the world, okay? And an Aries is the same thing. Like, we're a fire sign. We want to rule. So as you can see, that's not a good match. I think one day, or my next video is going to be about Aries and Scorpio. It's most definitely a sexual attraction. Out of all of the signs, I would say Aries and Scorpio have the potential, or have like crazy sex, like wild sex. So I think that's one of the things that always attracts an Aries to a Scorpio, because I'm not speaking in terms of just myself, but I'm just seeing patterns. Scorpio. So I'm just going to pull out a few cards, and it's basically an astrology reading, and I'm just going to go over what Scorpio should expect this month. It's Scorpio season, so let's get started. Okay, so here's the spread for your love reading, and the first card is actually the Eight of Swords, which is not a great card, but it's telling me that you guys are actually coming out of some bullshit. Excuse my language, but just some situations. So a lot of Scorpios may have found themselves in some really serious trouble, or something that really kind of like got them tied up. The good thing is that you're coming out of it. One reason why you got into this situation in the first place, like a Scorpio, you analyzed the situation, which was awesome, but the problem is that the way you analyzed it, it kind of got you into more trouble than kind of like out of trouble. So most definitely a great card to have, because it's a sign that you're unbinding yourself. So things are improving. In matters of love, it's normally a situation that wasn't the best, and it's showing that you're kind of slowly unbinding yourself. Okay? I don't know what you got into with your spouse, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, but you most definitely did something where you kind of got in over your head. But the card of strength is really asking me to ask you, what did you learn? Like, whenever the strength card is upside down, it's normally telling me that you got yourself into a situation that you thought you could handle, and you kind of brought yourself over here where you got binded up. Now you're coming out of it, but when it comes to relationship issues, I see it as you actually analyzing a situation and kind of like making the wrong moves. The Page of Wands is kind of like telling me that right now you're kind of you're in a point where you're really just digging yourself out of mud. Like, you're pulling yourself out, and you're finally figuring out kind of like how to fix the situation or get yourself out of it. Because this is a card, the Page of Wands is someone who has an idea, who's going to do something, who's going to get themselves out of it. So I don't know what the hell you did, Scorpio, in the last couple of months leading to your birthday month. But you most definitely are starting to pull yourself out, okay? You're working towards it. You're trying to make things like look better, trying to like I don't want to say cover things up, but it's like makeup season. It's kind of like you're kissing up, or you're trying to make up for the mistake, and really, Scorpio, the misanalyzation that caused you to get into kind of a crazy situation. But the thing is, there's still some blockages. So it's kind of telling me that you're gonna have to try a little harder, or the forgiveness that your other half needs, you're gonna have to work just a little bit harder. Sometimes our minds play tricks on us, and I think that's what's going on with Scorpio around this time, is that you kind of like made the wrong move, and now you're having to work hard to kind of like get back on good terms with whoever you're in a relationship with. And I don't kind of blame them, because I feel like you kind of misanalyzed a situation. Like a lot of Scorpios who are like very deep in thought, and you kind of made the wrong moves. But the beauty of the situation is actually in the card of the Star, which is telling me that you're looking for higher guidance. So most definitely praying, spirituality, meditation, even just reading a relationship book. Like I would recommend reading the 5 love languages. Men are from Mars, women are from Venus. Something to really help out in your relationships. So most definitely seeking spiritual guidance. Don't be afraid of being vulnerable, especially when you love someone. And most definitely you're learning about forgiveness. I think this is your month to really just, for the first time, kind of like the tables are turned. You're the one who's asking for forgiveness. Like the Father, he always represents like rules, boundaries. So most definitely, whatever line was crossed in your relationship, or whatever hurt feelings that you most likely caused to be hurt, then they're most definitely, you're going to have to learn how to set boundaries, or that person is going to start setting boundaries with you. So the healing is going to be slow, and it's going to be painful. You know how like when your lips are like super chapped, guys, and they start to crack and they start to bleed? Well, guess what? You're basically in that phase where the person's lip is bleeding and they just got a piece of paper to like dry it up. They haven't even started applying the actual chapstick or lip balm on. So right now you're just in the starting phases of asking for forgiveness and working things out. Here, where actually the tables are kind of turned. So a lot of Scorpios will see themselves on the end of the person who's actually guilty and who has a lot of lessons to learn. In tarot, the Death card actually represents Scorpio. It's not a bad card. It's a card of transition. So learning how to express yourself, using your natural analytical skills, but using them in the proper way to make the right connections with others.